Namaste Nrsimhaya.
Namaste Nrsimhaya.
Lard Lard Dayani.
Dala Dala Dadaine.
Hiranyakashi Pulachaya.
Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha.
Shilantankana Parani.
Shiladankanam Kalagye.
Ito Nrsimho Parato Nrsimho.
Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho.
Yato Yato Yamitito Nrsimho.
Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha.
Ayer Nrsimho Ayer Nrsimho.
Pahir Nrsimho Hidaye Nrsimho.
Nrsimhamatim Saranam Prapati.
Nrsimhamatim Sharanam Prapadye.
Tavakarikam Lavuri Nakam Amita Shringam. Parita Ivanika Shipu Tanyapringam. Tisavitrika Narimuka Jagadishave.
Avakara Kamala Marena Kam Adbhuta Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Shringa. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nrsimhade, 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 Jaya Nrsimhade. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai. 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 Gaur Premanande Haribo.
Shit. It's a bit darky. Is it? Darky.
Shall we?
Yeah.
We shall.
We're on 18 or 19. Oh, yeah.
This one there. I
You
guess.
sure? Okay.
I'm not sure, but I must.
If someone simply takes this is sorry, Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, 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 Bahima. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshama. Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Bahima.
So this chapter 59 talks between Krishna and Rukmini.
Anyway,
Great. Huh? Yeah, why not? You said that you are penniless, and that is correct, for you distribute yourself completely to these great souls, devotees. These great souls and devotees. Knowing this fact perfectly well, I rejected even such great personalities as Lord Brahma and King Indra. My Lord, the great time factor acts under your direction only. The time factor is so great and powerful that within moments it can affect devastation anywhere within the creation. Considering all these factors, I thought Jarasandha, Shishupal, and other similar princes who wanted to marry me to be no more important than ordinary insects. And, my dear all-powerful son of Vasudeva, your statement that you've taken shelter within the water of the ocean, being afraid of all the great princes, is quite suitable. But my experience with you contradicts this. I have actually seen that you had kidnapped me forcibly in the presence of all these great princes. At the time of my marriage ceremony, simply by giving a jerk to the string of your bow, you very easily drove the others away and kindly gave me shelter at your lotus feet. I still remember vividly that you kidnapped me in the same way a lion forcibly takes its share of the hunted booty, driving away all other small animals within the twinkling of an eye. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, I cannot understand your statement that women and other persons who have taken shelter under your lotus feet pass their days only in bereavement. From the history of the world, we can see that princes like Agga, Prithu, Bharat, Yayati and Gaya were all great emperors of the world, and there were no competitors to their exalted positions. But in order to achieve the favour of your lotus feet, they renounced their exalted positions and entered the forest to practice penances and austerities. When they voluntarily accepted such a position, accepting your lotus feet as all in all, does it mean that they were in lamentation and bereavement? My dear Lord, you advise me that I can still select another from the princely order and divorce myself of your companionship. But my dear Lord, it is perfectly well known to me that you are the reservoir of all good qualities. Great saintly persons like Narada Muni are always engaged simply glorifying your transcendental characteristics. If someone simply takes shelter of such a saintly person, he immediately becomes freed from all material contamination.
And when he comes in direct contact with your service, the goddess of fortune agrees to bestow all her blessings. Under the circumstances, what woman who has once heard of your glories from authoritative sources and has somehow or other tasted the nectarian flavor of your lotus feet can be foolish enough to agree to marry someone of this material world who is always afraid of death, disease, old age, and rebirth? I have therefore accepted your lotus feet, not without consideration, but after mature and deliberate decision. My dear Lord, you are the master of the three worlds. You can fulfill all the desires of all your devotees in this world and the next, because you are the supreme soul of everyone. I have therefore selected you as my husband, considering you to be the only fit personality. You may throw me in any species of life according to the reactions of my fruitive activities, and I haven't the least concern for this. My only ambition is that I may always remain fast to your lotus feet, for you can deliver your devotees from illusory material existence and are always prepared to distribute yourself to your devotees. My dear Lord, you have advised me to select one of the princes such as Shishupal, Jarasandha or Dantavakra, but what is their position in this world? They are always engaged in hard labor to maintain their household life, just like the bulls working hard day and night with an oil-pressing machine. They are compared to asses, beasts of burden. They are always dishonored like dogs, and they are miserly like cats. They have sold themselves like slaves to their wives. Any unfortunate woman who has never heard of your glories may accept such a man as her husband, but a woman who has learned about you, that you are praised not only in this world, but in the halls of the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, will not accept anyone beside you as her husband. A man within this material world is just a dead body. In fact, superficially, the living entity is covered by this body, which is nothing but a bag of skin decorated with beard and mustache, hair on the body and nails on the fingers and hairs on the head. Within this decorated bag are bunches of muscles, bundles of bone, and pools of blood, always mixed with stool, urine, mucus, bile, and polluted air, and enjoyed by different kinds of insects and germs. A foolish woman accepts such a dead body as her husband, and in sheer misunderstanding loves him as her dear companion. This is possible only because such a woman has never tasted the ever blissful flavor of your lotus feet. Very graphic. Rukmini Devi is very graphic.
My dear lotus-eyed husband, you are self-satisfied. You do not care whether or not I am beautiful or qualified. You are not at all concerned about it. Therefore, your non-attachment for me is not at all astonishing. It is quite natural. You cannot be attached to any woman, however exalted her position and beauty. Whether you get attached to me or not, may my devotion and attention be always engaged at your lotus feet. The material mode of passion is also your creation. So when you passionately glance upon me, I accept it as the greatest boon in my life. I am ambitious only for such auspicious moments. After hearing Rukmini's statement and a clarification of each and every word he had used to arouse her anger of love towards him, Krishna addressed Rukmini as follows: My dear chaste wife, my dear princess, I expected such an explanation from you, and only for this purpose did I speak those joking words, so that you might be cheated of the real point of view. Now my purpose has been served. The wonderful explanation you have given to my every word is completely factual and approved by me. O most beautiful Rukmini, you are my dearest wife, and I am greatly pleased to understand how much love you have for me. Please take it for granted that no matter what ambition and desire you might have, and no matter what you might expect from me, I am always at your service. And it is a fact also that my devotees, my dearmost friends and servitors, are always free from material contamination, even though they are not inclined to ask from me such liberation. My devotees never desire anything from me except to be engaged in my service, and yet because they are completely dependent upon me, even if they are found to ask something from me, that is not material. Such ambitions and desires, instead of becoming the cause of material bondage, become the source of liberation from this material world. My dear chaste and pious wife, I have tested on the basis of strict chastity your love for me, and you have passed the examination most successfully. I have purposely agitated you by speaking many words not applicable to your character, but I am surprised to see that not a pinch of your devotion to me has been deviated from its fixed position. My dear wife, I am the bestower of all benedictions, even up to the standard of liberation from this material world. For it is I only who can stop the continuation of material existence.
Okay, good. And call one back home, back to Godhead. One whose devotion for me is adulterated worships me for some material benefit, just to keep himself in the world of material happiness, culminating in the pleasure of sex life. One who engages himself in severe penance and austerities just to attain this material happiness is certainly under the illusion of my external energy. Persons who are engaged in my devotional service simply for the purpose of material gain and sense gratification are certainly foolish. No, certainly very foolish, for material happiness based on sex life is available in the most abominable species of life, such as the hogs and dogs. No one should try to approach me for such happiness, which is available even if one is put into a hellish condition of life. It is better, therefore, for persons who are simply after material happiness and not after me to remain in that hellish condition. Material contamination is so strong that everyone is working very hard day and night for material happiness. The show of religion, austerity, penance, humanitarianism, philanthropy, politics, science, everything is aimed at realizing some material benefit. For the immediate success of material benefit, Materialistic persons generally worship different demigods, and under the spell of material propensities, they sometimes take to the devotion service of the Lord. But sometimes it so happens that if a person sincerely serves the Lord and at the same time maintains material ambitions, the Lord very kindly removes the sources of material happiness. Not finding any recourse in material happiness, the devotee then engages himself absolutely in pure devotional service. Lord Krishna continued, "My dear best of queens, I clearly understand that you have no material ambition. Your only purpose is to serve me, and you have long been engaged in unalloyed service. Exemplary unalloyed devotional service not only can bestow upon the devotee liberation from this material world, but it also promotes him to the spiritual world, to be eternally engaged in my service. Persons too addicted to material happiness cannot render such service. Women whose hearts are polluted and full of material desires devise various means of sense gratification while outwardly showing themselves to be great devotees. My dear honored wife, although I have thousands of wives, I do not think that any of them can love me more than you. The practical proof of your extraordinary position is that you had never seen me before our marriage.
You had simply heard about me from a third person, and still your faith in me was so fixed that even in the presence of many qualified, rich and beautiful men of the royal order, you did not select any one of them as your husband, but instead insisted on having me. You neglected all the princes present, and very politely you sent me a confidential letter inviting me to kidnap you. While I was kidnapping you, your elder brother Rukmi violently protested and fought with me. As a result of the fight, I defeated him mercilessly and disfigured his body. At the time of Aniruddha's marriage, when we were all playing chess, there was another fight with your brother Rukmi on a controversial verbal point, and my brother Balaram finally killed him. I was surprised to see you did not utter even a word of protest over this incident. Because of your great anxiety that you might be separated from me, you suffered all the consequences without speaking even a word. As the result of this great silence, my dear wife, you have purchased me for all time. I have come eternally under your control. You sent your messenger inviting me to kidnap you, and when you found that there was a little delay in my arriving on the spot, you began to see the whole world as vacant. At that time, you concluded that your beautiful body was not fit to be touched by anyone else. Therefore, thinking that I was not coming, you decided to commit suicide immediately and end that body. My dear Rukmini, with such great and exalted love for me, will always remain within my soul. As far as I am concerned, it is not within my power to repay you for your unalloyed devotion to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna certainly has no business being anyone's husband or son or father, because everyone belongs to him and everyone is under his control. He does not require anyone's help for his satisfaction. He is Atmarama, self-satisfied. He can derive all pleasure by himself without anyone's help. But when the Lord descends to play the part of a human being, he plays a role either as a husband, son, friend or enemy in full perfection. As such, when he was playing as the perfect husband of the queens, especially of Rukminiji, he enjoyed conjugal love in complete perfection. According to Vedic culture, although polygamy is allowed, none of one's wives should be ill-treated. In other words, one may take many wives only if he is able to satisfy all of them equally. As
an ideal householder. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Lord Krishna is the world teacher. Therefore, even though he had no need for a wife, he expanded himself into as many forms as he had wives, and he lived with them as an ideal householder, observing the regulative principles, rules, and commitments in accordance with the Vedic injunctions and the social laws and customs of society. For each of his 16,108 wives, he simultaneously maintained different palaces different establishments, and different atmospheres. Thus the Lord, although one, exhibited himself as 16,108 ideal householders. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 59th chapter of Krishna, talks between Krishna and Rukmini. And chapter 60, the genealogical table of the family of Krishna.
Okay.
No, not too inspired?
Interesting, we'll see.
It's very interesting. We have 5 minutes. Krishna had 16,108 wives, and in each of them he begot 10 sons, all of them equal to their father in the opulences of strength, beauty, wisdom, fame, wealth, and renunciation. Like father, like son. All the 16,108 wives of Krishna were princesses, and when each saw that Krishna was always present in their respective palace and did not leave home, she considered Krishna a henpecked husband who was very much attached to her. Every one of them thought that Krishna was her very obedient husband, but actually Krishna had no attraction for any of them. Although each thought that she was the only wife of Krishna and was very, very dear to him, Lord Krishna, being Atmarama, self-sufficient, was neither dear nor inimical to any one of them. He was equal to all the wives and treated them as treated them as a perfect husband just to please them. For him, there was no need for even a single wife. In fact, since they were women, the wives could not understand the exalted position of Krishna, nor the truths about him. All the princesses who were wives of Krishna were exquisitely beautiful. Exquisitely beautiful. And each one of them was attracted by Krishna's eyes, which were just like lotus petals, and his beautiful face, long arms, broad ears, pleasing smile, humorous talk, and sweet words. Influenced by these features of Krishna, they all used to dress themselves very attractively, desiring to attract Krishna by their feminine bodily appeal. They exhibited their feminine characteristics by smiling and moving their eyebrows, thus throwing sharp arrows.
Conjugal love, just awaiting Krishna's lusty desires for them. Still, they could not rouse Krishna's mind or his sexual appetite. This means that Krishna never had any sexual relationships with any of his many wives, save and except to beget children. The queens of Dwarka were so fortunate that they got Lord Sri Krishna as their husband and personal companion. Although he is not approachable by exalted demigods like Brahma, Lord Krishna and his queens remained together as husband and wife, and Krishna as an ideal husband, treating them in such a way that at every moment there was an increase of transcendental bliss in their smiling exchanges, talking and mixing together. Each and every wife had hundreds of thousands of maidservants, yet when Krishna entered the palaces of his thousands of wives, each one of them used to receive Krishna personally by seating him in a nice chair, worshipping him with all exquisite paraphernalia, personally washing his feet, offering him betel nuts, massaging his legs to relieve them from fatigue, fanning him to make him comfortable, offering all kinds of scented sandalwood pulp, oils and aromatics, putting flowers, garlands on his neck, dressing his hair, getting him to lie down on the bed and assisting him in taking his bath. Thus they served always in every respect, especially when Krishna was eating. They were always engaged in the service of the Lord. Of the 16,108 queens of Krishna, each of whom had 10 sons, there is the following list of the first of the 8 queens. By Rukmini, Krishna had 10 sons: Pradyumna, Charudsana, Sudesna, Charudeha, Sukaru, Karugupta, Bharatcharu, Charucharan, Charuchanandra, Vikaru and Karu. None of them were inferior in their qualities to their divine father. Lord Krishna similarly, Satyabhama, had 10 sons, and their names are as follows: Banu, Subanu, Swabanu, Prabhanu, Prabhamunam, Chandrabanu, Badrubanu, Badbanu, Ati Banu, Sri Banu, and Pati Banu. The next queen, Jambavati, had 10 sons headed by Samba, and their names are as follows: Samba, Samrita, Parijit, Satyajit, Sahasrajit, Vijay, Chitraketu, Vasuman, Dravida, and Kratu. Lord Krishna was specifically very affectionate to the sons of Jambavati by his wife Satya, the daughter of King Natrajit. Lord Krishna had 10 sons. They are as follows: Vira, Chandra, Asvasena, Chitragu, Vegavan, Vrisa, Ama, Shanku, Vasu, and Kunti. Amongst all of them, Kunti was very powerful, and Krishna had 10 sons by Kalindi, and they are as follows: Sruta, Kavi, Visha, Vira, Sabuhu, Bhadra, Santi, and Darsha, and Purnamasa.
Okay. How much minutes? Okay, we have 2 minutes. Finish that page. For his next wife, Lakshmana, the daughter of the king of Madras province, from Krishna begot 10 sons of the names Prakosha, Gatavan, Simha, Bala, Prabala, Urdvaga, Mahashakti, Saha, Oja, and Aprajita. Similarly, his next wife, Mitravinda, had 10 sons. They are as follows: Vrika, Harsha, Anila, Gridra, Vardhana, Annada, Mahamsa, Pavana, Vahani, and Kshudhi. His next wife, Bhadra, had 10 sons of the names Sangramajit, Brihatsena, Shura, Praharana, Arijit, Jaya, Subhadra, Vama, Ayu, and Satyaka. Besides these 8 chief queens, Krishna had 16,100 other wives, and all of them had 10 sons each. The eldest son of Rukmini, Pradyumna, was married with Mayavati from his
Married with
Mayavati from his very birth, and afterwards he married Rukmavati, the daughter of his maternal uncle Rukmi. From this Rukmavati, Pradyumna had a son named Aniruddha. In this way, Krishna's family, Krishna and his wives, along with their sons and grandsons, and even great-grandsons, all combined together to include very nearly 1 million family members. No, sorry, 1 billion. Billion.
Wow, that's far out.
Rukmi, the elder brother of Krishna's first wife, Rukmini, was greatly harassed and insulted in his fight with Krishna, but on the request of Rukmini, his life was saved. Since the Rukmi held a great grudge against Krishna and was always inimical toward him, nevertheless, his daughter married Krishna's son, and his granddaughter married Krishna's grandson Aniruddha. This fact appeared a little astonishing to Maharaj Parikshit when he heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. I am surprised that Rukmi and Krishna, who were so greatly inimical to one another, could again be united by marital relationships between their descendants. Parikshit Maharaj was curious about the mystery of this incident, and therefore he inquired further from Shukadeva Goswami. Because Shukadeva Goswami was a practical yogi, nothing was hidden from his power of insight. A perfect yogi like Shukadeva Goswami can see past, present, and future in all details. Therefore, from such yogis or mystics, nothing can be concealed. When Parikshit Maharaj inquired from Shukadeva Goswami answered as follows. Pradyumna, the eldest son of Krishna, born of Rukmini, was Cupid himself. He was so beautiful and attractive that the daughter of Rukmi, namely Rukmavati, could not select any husband other than Pradyumna during her Svayamvara. Therefore, we end here. Thank you everyone who joined us.
Thank you.
I hope you had a wonderful chance to get absorbed in Krishna's pastimes, because that's the whole idea. You want to become absorbed, fully absorbed. and then we get the full nectar. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.